Hello and welcome to the next episode of Chat Capsules. Before I begin, I want to take a minute and I want to thank people for the validation and support I got for the first episode with Zainab ma'am. I was kind of sure that we will because it was one with the goddess herself. But one thing that ties us together as humans is a desire to be heard. The validation I got from the first episode told me that I am being heard. It inspired me to create more such content. Today at Chat Capsules, I'm delighted to have with us Dr. Ashir. He's rank 1 PGI November 2016, rank 5 AIMS November 2016. Now, this is something that we all know about him, but he's also a great surgeon. Now, there's this very popular saying, a great surgeon must be skilled at war. So, is it safe to call you a warrior, Dr. Ashir?
Well, I'd like to begin by thanking you, Shubhangi, for having me here on this interview. I'm really excited. And to go at war, like what I feel like whatever work we do, be it any specialty, when it concerns medicine, every day is like a war field. It's not like only surgeons are up there and with knives in their hands and fighting this and that, and there's blood all around. There are critical patients and there are stuff you need to make, major important decisions like a war field. So it's not just about surgery, but the medical profession as a whole, I feel is, very much comparable to going at war.
Right. So, Dr. Ashir, we just went through your academic achievements. Currently, you're doing MCH, you're an SR, a senior resident at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, pursuing gastrosurgery, right? So, this is something that we all know about you because you're all out there on YouTube and, you had your shot at nerdy fame. But tell us something about you that we don't know already. Like, what makes you the doctor that you are today?
As a doctor, I think you'll have to ask my patients that, but there's only one thing I need to say. I am exactly what I appear. So if you go to my Facebook page or an Instagram page and whatever stuff you see, that's actually happening in real life. It's not, pretentious or something. So I am at work most of the time of the week, but then I also do take out time to go out and chill with friends and, go to places, have dinner, party, relax, sleep, dance, whatever. So my life is not all about, surgery, though it's a big chunk of it. But there's a lot of other things that are also going on at the same time. So I just try to keep them all in loop.
Right. So I'll start with the most cliched question कि आपकी family में कोई doctors हैं? Do you come from a medical background?
I would not say I come from a medical background. My aunt is a doctor, but then both of my parents are not. So I still believe like I'm the first one in the main family to be a doctor.
Yeah. So why did you become a doctor? I mean, I know as cliched as this question is, why did you become a doctor?
I had no direction. Like most kids who are 16, like arts, I was told by my parents, my friends and family, my peers that, okay, it's a good profession. It is an evergreen profession. It's been coming up big time and you'll be really successful in this and that. So probably because of that, I took the subject biology, but I was still confused. So I was told, if there's confusion, take mathematics as well. वो भी मैंने किया. धीरे-धीरे, my inclination slowly tilted towards biology. I don't know how and when, but then it did. But mostly it was just, कि सबने बोला it's nice, it's good. I also didn't hate it, so I went into it and now I'm here where I am.
Right. So what kind of a student were you in your early childhood, considering that you went on to All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi to do your undergrad also? So what kind of a student were you during your early days? Were you a very disciplined person? Did you have your share of fun? Like, how did this pan out?
To be really honest, I was very disciplined when it came to studies. So I used to always, do my work on time, my homework, my padhai, my tuitions. They always came first. But needless to say, it was not always padhai, because I had a very, very vibrant group of friends at school in Jaipur. So I used to chill a lot. But then, yes, when it came to picking priorities, padhai and, getting into a good college was always on top.
Yeah. So I would like to ask you this, because you have this meritorious background. Now, a lot of people and on a lot of interviews, people keep telling us कि ना ये पढ़ो जैसे pre PG के लिए भी people will tell us कि ये पढ़ो ये books पढ़ो la la la, but nobody tells us how to study. Like, so I am asking you this question to learn how to learn. Like, say for example, if you were back in your pre PG days And if you were to say finish biochem in 3 days, and today you have to do say carbohydrate metabolism, so how do you approach a topic? Is it your, do you approach a topic with ki ek first reading lagani hai, then we'll come back to it? Do you approach it ki you should know it through and through? Like, what is your approach to a single topic? Like, say for example, aapko intestinal obstruction padhna hai aaj, so how do you approach a topic?
So I'm keeping pre-PG preparation, in the forefront. So the preparation cannot be done in your final year or your internship. That's what I learned while preparing for these exams. So if your base, if you're consistent with your studies and you read all the good books, standard books, not with the focus on pre-PG examination and MCQ, just reading the subject while you're at it. So that really helps when you're in your final year, because when you read those things again, you kind of make that correlation, and you have things in your background somewhere in your subconscious. They pop up. You get to connect things, and then it becomes easy. So, like you asked, finishing biochem one chapter in three hours, it can be done, but then for that you'll have to have read it like multiple times. So my strategy at preparation is to read a topic again and again, and then it becomes permanent. I cannot read one topic for 8 hours with full concentration and never forget it. That never happens. So for me, it's like, okay, multiple 30-minute reads on a topic, and then I'm able to register, and then I'll remember it, not for a lifetime, but then for the time it needs to be. So that's true for all the subjects here in MBBS and pre-PG examinations. Ki multiple readings are absolutely necessary. So if you're beginning to prepare in your internship and it's your first month at internship, you should be able to grossly, go through your syllabus superficially, theek hai, at least in the first 4 to 5 months, then a second read for the next 3 to 4 months, and then one final, jumbo jet revision in the last month before the exam. So that's my strategy.
Right, but also I would want to ask you this again, कि आप कोई एक टॉपिक पढ़ रहे हो ना, so for example आपने कोई भी एक random topic उठाया, so for instance during your MBBS also, so how do you approach that one topic? Suppose आपको short note लिखना है, मान लो intestinal obstruction पे for example, so how do you approach that topic? Do you like make sticky notes to come back to it again? How do you approach a topic?
Okay, that way. So if I have to prepare a topic, I'll find the best available material for that topic, that particular topic at one time. So I do all the mehnat on that first read. So if it's intestinal obstruction, I'll go through all the available books, ki surgery ki daily hai, or if there's one MCQ book or whatever, find all the relevant information and make a concise summary of it at one point, so that when I come to it again during my next read, I will have all the available information there and it'll save time. So that's my strategy. I try to compile resources and facts and information, whatever you call it, from all the sources, modules and study material, textbooks, MCQ books, whatever, at one time, make a summary, put it together at a place, and I'll keep reading it again and again till the day of the exam.
Right. So आपने basically एक बार मेहनत कर ली, and then you keep revising your crisp part.
My crisp part, yes.
Right. So we'll go on to the part where you finally made it to AIIMS. So what's your favorite part of your medical school?
The college life, MBBS. It's amazing. I cannot even begin to tell you how good it is to be in the campus. It's so full of life. There are events, there are sports, there are extracurriculars. So people do whatever they want to do. And people come here and they start pursuing things they never did before in their life. So they develop hobbies. People go into dramatics, dance. The college gives you time to do all that. So it's a beautiful place, and that's the best part of my undergrad life.
So what was your day like going back to your UG days?
In college, UG days?
Yeah.
So like everyone I never woke up for my 8 a.m. Lectures. So used to miss those. And then 9 a.m. would be on a normal day. I guess Mondays would be dissection hall anatomy. So we would go there. By 1, we would get free, come back to the mess, have our lunch. 2 p.m. would be some other lectures in the afternoon, and 4 o'clock we're all done for the day. Right. And then you just roam about, go to monuments, Delhi jate the, idhar-udhar ghumte the, all that. And a week or two, probably 2 or 3 weeks before the exam, mid-semester or whichever, we would get serious and then spend all our days and evenings and nights in the library, get done with the exam, and then come back to the schedule.
Right. So it was not like all work, no fun,
Absolutely not. That's a myth. That never happens.
Right. So this is also a very interesting question. Moving on, in your medical school, who was that one person you wanted to emulate? You know, like we all have this one doctor as a benchmark, you know, one professor, one doctor we meet somewhere. Like for a lot of us, it's Dr. Zainab. Who is it for you? Or are you that person who people want to emulate now that you're on the other side
People
of it?
want to, I don't know about people what they want and if they really want to do that. I really hope they don't. But for me, I think my seniors at college, more than the professors who taught me stuff, no, undoubtedly,
Right.
my seniors who were there in MBBS, 2-3 saal bade, who knew, who had been all those exams and all, they guided me more than my, people at college. So I
Right.
really, and there's not one, there are multiple. So somebody used to tell me, "Arey, ye yahan se pad le, ye aise kar le, do that, do this, do that." They
Hmm.
learned from experience and they gave that information to me. So that helped me get through my 5 years at
Right.
undergrad.
Right.
So it's basically my seniors. Basically my
Right.
seniors.
Yeah. Moving on to a very important part of medical school, like I remember for myself, there's a lot of pimping involved. Like, you know, I don't know why, but there's this tradition कि डॉक्टरों की ना बेइज्जती कर करके उनको सिखाना है कि तुम गधे हो, get out, you don't know anything. So were you also asked questions in the ward that you didn't know? Considering that now you're here and you got like all India rank 1, so how is it like you? Were you ever pimped with questions you didn't know?
Yeah.
Were you did you ever, let me rephrase this, did you ever feel inadequate on a
Oh, I did
serious
a
note?
lot.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Plenty of times I felt inadequate in the ward because I genuinely didn't know things. You get really
Yeah.
less time to study once you're in the residency.
Yeah.
So hota hai, people ask you stuff you don't know, they laugh about it, they yell at you, they get angry, they throw you out of the round. That's a parcel, a part and parcel of your surgical residency
So
life.
it doesn't bother you?
It shouldn't. I mean, I won't justify having it in the hospital, but that's a sad part of our system that it does happen. And all I can say to not take it to heart, ek kaan se suno, dusre kaan se nikalo, just get back to your work because things like these, they keep on happening. And once you're done with all your training and all, you'll be over and above all this. So
Yeah.
let's not just, take it to heart and just carry on with our life.
Right. So have you ever tasted failure? It's a very blunt thing to ask, but you know, looking from a distance doesn't look like you have, but it's important for us to know. Have you ever tasted failure in any form or shape, personal or professional?
I have, I guess. Last year itself, I tried to get into SRship. I wrote the MCH exam. I did not get through the first time. So that was a big setback for me. I was really upset. But
Yeah.
then people told me, because it was the first time in my life that I wrote an exam, I did not get the rank or the college I
Yeah.
wanted. So I had to technically drop 6 months and then write the exam again. So that
Yeah.
was heartbreaking, undoubtedly. But I had my friends, I had my family. They told me to get on it again and just not lose hope. I wrote it again and I got through. So that was a
Yeah.
really, dicey time and a tough time for me. Last
I
six
think it's
months.
a I think it's a very important part where we want to stress upon, because अभी अभी हमारा result आया है, so there are a lot of people who are disheartened, and you know it's very heart wrenching कि आप बहुत पढ़ाई करो, something happens, you know it's not your day, whatever, there's a lot of stuff into
Mm-hmm.
it. So how did you jump out of it? How did you snap back from a failure, from this
So
time when you know, like, because you're really good at your stuff, you had all those fancy ranks and everything, so how is it for you tasting failure कि you know आपका नहीं हुआ एक बार में, and how did you jump out of it कि नहीं it's okay, कोई बात नहीं, अगली बार और देंगे?
uh, from being in this profession for the past 10 years approximately now, I have realized that medical profession is not about talent or skill or intellect as much as it is about perseverance, hard work, just getting to it again and again. So that's
Yeah.
the thing that came to my mind. Ki ek baar nahi hua, so you have to try again, because invariably all of us have given multiple attempts at stuff in this profession.
Right. Right.
So it's not always the first time. First time. It's not like technical, and if you don't get it the first time, you don't have the skill or what. If you do it again, definitely you'll get better at it. So that's what I
Right.
had in my mind. That's what my seniors, my friends who wrote the exam, and they all told me ki ek baar nahi, you have to just write it again, and one day you'll get
Yeah.
into it.
Right.
So bas wahi tha. Luckily the second
Okay.
time was fine.
Right. So I'll go back to this time after your pre-PG exam. Why did you choose surgery?
I was always fascinated by this branch, to be honest. मतलब मेरे को हमेशा से पसंद था. I always wanted to do surgery. I had options to do other stuff. But somehow I thought I was not cut out for anything else. So that's why.
Right. Now, that's a very straight answer, but tell us this, why should someone not choose surgery?
People should not choose surgery for one very common reason, that it requires long hours and a lot of physical and mental, exertion.
Right.
All fields have their, all specialties are tough, but then surgery is a little bit more. So you have the OPDs, you have the wards, and you have the OTs compared with other specialties who have the wards and the
Right.
OPDs does. So
Right.
you have to, have that strength to stay up all night, stay up operating all night, stand in the OR for good 12 hours at a stretch and not feel tired. Or even if you feel tired, then you have to, control it. So it's
Yeah.
more physical labor than other specialties. So that's one thing people should always keep in mind when they are, deciding to pick surgery as a specialty after undergrad.
Right.
It's
Do you
physical. It's
think
very physical.
surgery is gender specific?
No, absolutely not.
Like, how many of your colleagues are females as a when you were doing your residency?
My residency, 40% of our department for, had females, both consultants, SRs and PGs included. So it's
Right.
absolutely not gender specific.
Right. So as men, you don't look at them कि अरे shit तुम्हारे साथ में लड़की आई है तुम्हें ज़्यादा duties करनी पड़ेंगी and all that stuff.
अरे नहीं यार, my colleagues used to do more duties than me, and I used to put my work on them and go ahead, because I knew that they were sincere and they would get it done and I
Yeah.
wouldn't. So it was actually a boon for me to have all those female colleagues around.
Yeah, but there is this rumor bhi nahi, there's a stereotype, I would say, when women are about to choose a branch, they're being told like go for a girly branch, go for something like
What's
radio.
A girly branch?
Girly branch is like radio, opthal, things that are not as physically strenuous. Like orthopedics is a very gender specific branch. Surgery is also till a certain extent pretty gender specific, because there aren't a lot of females in surgery. So how is your do you feel like that's also a part of it?
It is a conception in society that there are certain branches that are meant for women and there are some branches that are for men.
Yeah.
But practically speaking, it's all your skill and work. So it's not at all gender specific. And ladka hai ki ladki hai, that has nothing to do with how you're going to perform, be it gynecology, be it surgery, be it orthopedics. But okay, girls usually don't, go into that branch. But wo bhi karengi, to I don't think it will be an issue.
Right. So as a guy, you never looked at them ki, they come duty karegi, night duty nahi karegi, stuff like that.
मेरे साथ कभी हुआ नहीं. I had very enterprising colleagues, so that never happened.
Right. So when you were doing your residency at All India Institute, how was your day like? Like, how was the surgical cutting there? There's this very common stereotype, I would say, that AIIMS ke andar, because there's so many SRs, itna hands-on nahi milta to a JR, to a resident, because there's so many SRs, so you don't get a lot of hands-on experience. Do you think this is true?
This is true, but it's not wrong. That's what I feel. Because there's a lot more to surgery than, just opening up a patient and closing him up. So there's a pre-operative management, there's an intraoperative decision making, there's a post-op management for complications. Right. So these are the things that you will learn only with a good, program and in the good hospitals where things are done at par with the international guidelines. So that place is AIIMS. Right. So you know which patient you should, should be operated, which patient should not be operated, what should be done, what should not be done. Right. So these are all the basics that you learn during your 3 years of postgrad residency at AIIMS, which you will never learn, again in life. Kaatne ko to we have our entire lives in front of us. You can always go ahead and operate. So that's not an issue. Yeah. So what's more important here to learn in AIIMS is how to manage a patient. And that is very well taught. And that's the reason why I will always advise anyone to come to AIIMS to do their surgical residency, in spite of the fact that you won't get to operate per se so much. But eventually, whenever you do, you'll be a great surgeon. Right. So how was your day like as a resident of surgery at All India Institute? How were your duties? PG में कि आपके duties कितनी लगती थी, and how strenuous was it? How was your day like? Like a routine. Okay, let me ask this. How was your week like? Like a routine, yeah. It's an 80-hour week, 80 to 90-hour week. So during the first year of my post-graduation, I would say first 6 months, because we have new batches coming in every 6 months. So during my first 6 months, I used to have about 8 duties a month. So 8 duties are like you come to the ward at 7:15, you stay there all day, you do the night, and then next day is again a routine day. So you start your work again and get free by 6 or 7 in the evening the next day. So that's a routine duty day. That's how it is. Right. When you're not, and there are 8 such days in a month, so approximately 2 every week. Right. And on the days when you're not on duty, it would begin again at 7:30, 7:45 in the morning, and you get free by 8-ish.
Right.
That's it.
Right. So, do you remember your first successful surgery?
My first successful surgery was a lipoma excision of a
Right.
man's back. That's what I
Right.
remember. Very vividly remember it. And it was not even when I was in PG, it was when I was an intern. So in SR when
Okay.
we do it in minor OTs. So I very well remember that. It was a great
Right.
experience. बहुत मजा आया.
More importantly, do you remember your first misadventure in the operation room? And how did you deal with it? Like, because the learning curve is so steep, while working, there are a lot of things that go wrong initially. And it's very disheartening for young doctors. So now that you're at the other side of the tunnel, how do you deal with it?
Well, I would like to say here I'm still not completely on the other side. On the other side, I'm still in the process. But yes, I've had misadventures in the operating room. I've had bleeding. I've seen bleeding. I've seen leaks. And the only thing that kept me going is I always had a good support from my consultants and my seniors. So whenever there's an
Right.
issue as a trainee, you should always learn to ask for help and not
Yeah.
let your ego, even if it's your colleague or your junior. So you should always ask
Hmm.
for help and not let your ego come in between. That's a big problem in surgeons, the ego issue.
Yeah.
So if you get away with that, I don't think you'll ever face any issues ever. So when I have a misadventure, I call my
Right.
friends, I call my colleagues, I call my seniors, and they always barge in to help.
Right.
That's how I deal with it.
Okay. I would move on to a difficult question. When was the first time you saw death?
I saw that first time when as a PG, because as interns, you're not exposed to such critical
Yeah.
conditions or
Like you were
situations.
operating on somebody, you were deeply involved in somebody's treatment, and the patient died. So tell us about the first time that happened.
It was a
And
new
did it
experience.
like, yeah, did it
It
bother
did.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come to that. So it was basically, we don't have so many patients dying in the operating room. So it's mostly in the ICUs. So yeah, there was this patient, the complex surgery, abdomen case, multiple issues. We kept, doing stuff,
Right.
managing ICU, this, that, blood surgeries again and again. He got operated. I think he was operated thrice or four times. And then
Right.
in spite of that, we couldn't save him and he succumbed. So it
Right.
was distressing. I couldn't focus much the day and the next day after the patient's
Right.
death. Probably because I could actually at times see his healthy face when he came walking into my OPD and walking into the ward, came in for a surgery, and then things went bad since. So that picture
Right.
always comes to my mind. And then there's the relatives and the patient's attenders who you have to counsel when the patient dies. So it's very difficult to tell them that someone they knew who was getting treatment and they were hoping was getting better is no more. So to deal with that is also something that you will slowly and gradually develop in your career because these things will keep happening.
Right.
So it's only a matter of time, and then you get tough. You toughen up, and
Right.
then you just continue with work.
Right. Right. So what advice would you want to give to somebody who aspires to be a surgeon, who is looking up to you? Maybe they're pre-med, maybe they are in the medical school. What advice would you want to give to them to, maybe say prepare in some way to become a surgeon?
But as a profession, yeah, so they should be ready to have a big fight ahead of them. They should be ready to put in, like I said, long hours, being at work
Right.
all day, all night,
Right.
uh, ignoring, which is not really good, but ignoring family, and they should be prepared for all that. At least in the first 8 to 10 years of their career, and probably after that, when they're in a good, comfortable position, they might be able to do other things. But if you're getting
Right.
into surgery, you should it's not about a 3 year general surgery training and then a 3 year SR shift. So the first
Yeah.
10 to 15 years of your life are still a learning process. So it's difficult. Even when you pass out of a medical program or an academic program, you still have to struggle a lot in private or in
Right.
other government schools to get to a level of proficiency where you can be expected to do things without complications. So my
Right.
advice to youngsters is if you're getting into surgery, then they should be focused, at least get ready to take all that hard shit for the next 10 years at least, and if they're ready to do that,
Right.
I think they'll be great surgeons.
Right. Um, with this, we'll move on to some insightful questions. Tell us about a time. Tell us about a challenging situation in your life, both professionally and personally. Because when we look at you from this side of the screen, it looks like you have a picture perfect life. But I feel that each person we meet is fighting a battle of his or her own. from a distance, it looks like your life is picture perfect, but I guess like there are things that we don't know about. So tell us about some challenging situation that you had personally and professionally.
So professionally, every day was a challenge, but I'd like to talk about the personal aspect of it. So, finding that balance between your professional and personal life is a problem in the career that we all chose.
Right.
So that was an issue. I barely got any time to travel back home, meet my family, meet my mom, meet my brother. So I always feel, and I always will feel, that I have spent way too much time in my life on my studies or my work or my profession. So that's something that keeps bugging me. I try to devote more time to family, and I'm sure every one of us is struggling with that being in this profession. And to find that perfect work-life balance is something that not everybody is, able to do. And then things starts to, they start to go bad. You have patients yelling at you at home, and then you have family yelling at you at work, at work and then at home.
Right.
So that's a personal challenge that I felt. I'm still struggling with it. I'm still learning to get over it. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And uske alawa, life at work, everything is challenging, but then you're able to, things come and go eventually. Dheere dheere apne aap aate aate you get to, you learn how to handle them. So work
Right.
professional challenges are not much of a hassle. It is the
Right.
personal that, makes your mind boggle.
Right.
I passed out once in the OR, if that's what you want to hear.
Yeah,
So
we
I
do
was
want
at
to hear
work.
about it.
So it was a duty day. I came to my ward at 7 in the morning, and then I started my work. I did not get time to eat my breakfast. I skipped lunch. I skipped dinner. I was on night duty. I slept for barely an hour and a half. Next morning was a routine OT day. I went to OT. I was standing there. I did not have breakfast. I did not have lunch. And then 5 or 6 p.m. in the evening, when the last case was getting out, I collapsed in the operating room. So I don't
Right.
know why, what it was. People said I had a syncope. Some said I had a seizure. I don't know. I have no memory of it. But then I
Right.
woke up an hour later in the ward on the bed, and then there were multiple IV fluids and this and that. So that's something that was the most, the peak of it. Uske baad, it
Right.
has never been so much. So I'm now acclimatized to working long hours.
Right. So have you had your moments of doubt being in this profession for so long and being at All India Institute for so long?
I've had my moments of doubt regarding this profession, not surgery, but the medical profession as whole, because I've seen my
What
friends
kind of
and
what kind of doubts do you have, and
so I had this doubt.
what precipitates it?
It's basically when you're at the peak of your frustration. There are people yelling at you in the ward. You barely get time to sleep, meet your family, meet your friends, and then you think, okay, could my life, had my life been better अगर मैंने ये किया होता या वो किया होता या medical नहीं किया होता, engineering किया होता, law किया होता. So there are multiple
Right.
such moments of doubt. They were more
Right.
frequent initially when I started this journey, and
Right.
they've all come down significantly now that I've started to love my profession. But then it
Right.
still happens कि अरे यार सब लोग बैठते हैं कहाँ फंस गए हैं, वो कर रहे होते हैं, ये
Right.
कर रहे होते हैं, बाहर चले जाते हैं. So वो सब होता रहता है.
Or do you question
No, in
because
the end,
because it's so long? You start at 10+2. The kind of effort, the kind of discipline that's required at that point is so tremendous. Then आप एक exam दो, फिर आप 5 साल, it's a lot of stress. The profs itself, you're perpetually feeling inadequate कि आप कितनी भी बार पढ़ लो आपको याद नहीं होती चीजें. This is like a universal thing with everybody. Then आप इतना पढ़ो, पीजी का एग्जाम दो, आप एमसीएस दो. So the night duties, the turmoil, the less pay at the beginning, do you question if it's worth it?
look, it's all worth it, because
Right.
if you study for 5 years and give like 20 different exams and then work 20 hours and this and that, and then you save one life, so it
Yeah.
all becomes worth it. So even if the value of a life is way more than all these years and everything.
Right.
So when you
Right.
look at the bigger picture, when you make a difference in someone's life, somebody gets better and they thank you and they're happy, they're glad, then
Right.
you start to think, okay, probably yes, I did the right thing. And it's not
Right.
so bad after all.
Right. So is there to wrap this conversation up, is there an advice you'd want to give to your juniors who are starting out?
So for people who are starting out getting into medicine, and
Right.
I want them to rethink their decision. I'm not trying to demotivate them. But
Right.
like I said, this journey is a lot more than just skill and talent. It's more about hard
Right.
work, long hours, and perseverance. Even if you're not so
Right.
smart and brainy, but then you're
Right.
dedicated and
Right.
are hell bound that you want to do this and proceed. Only then you should take this profession, because eventually I've seen people who get exhausted and burnt out right after MBBS, and that's not a time when you can just leave, because with
Right.
just a medical undergrad degree, you're nobody in this
Right.
profession.
Right.
So once you begin this journey, you have to take it to the end. So for those who are still deciding whether they want to get into medicine or not, they should think about this. And for those who have already started, there's a beautiful journey ahead, and they should just enjoy and not so much worry. Not worry so much about what profession they're going to go into. So that's also a question, na, कि PG में क्या लें, हमारे लिए best क्या है.
Yeah.
So every profession is nice, every field is great,
Yeah.
and irrespective of whatever you choose, if you're a good surgeon or a good physician or a good internist, you'll eventually succeed.
Right.
So not let these things bother, and just take each day as it is and keep
Right.
working. That's it.
Also, this was supposed to be my last question, but now that we have spoken about it, while people are choosing what branch they should marry, do you think the feeling कि ओ मेरे को अंडरग्रेड में सर्जरी पढ़ना पसंद था या कि गायनी पढ़ना पसंद था, that limited experience, do you think it's adequate to decide
No,
what branch you want to get into?
it's inadequate. It's absolutely inadequate. What we read as undergraduate students is a lot different than what we really practice. So things are
Right.
extremely difficult. We do not
Right.
see the hard work and the lifestyle associated with the branch. We only see the facts and the knowledge and the
Right.
guidelines and all that.
Right.
So पढ़ाई में क्या पसंद आता है, to an extent it will help you, but that should not be all of it. So as an intern, so that's the best time when you can go to different departments and explore. So as an intern, when you are
Right.
actually beginning your preparation, you don't have to commit to a field when you write the exam. So when you're
Right.
an intern, you go to the walls, you should actually see what kind of life you really want to spend.
Right.
So that's the time where you can actually decide कि क्या specialty लेनी है. And eventually rank पे तो depend करता ही है, but that will help
Right.
you choose.
Right. So if somebody is still confused after their internship, what do you think? How do you think they should go about selecting a branch?
So if someone is absolutely confused about all the 19 subjects कि क्या
Yeah.
लेना है, I cannot help them. But if it's between one or two branches, I think whichever they pick, eventually you'll start to love your own branch.
Right.
I've seen people who get frustrated and drop out and then write the exam again, but that doesn't happen so often.
Right.
So
Right.
if you chose a branch that you really didn't want to do and just picked it up just for the heck of it because you got a rank and
Right.
you wanted to pick something up and not study again, then it'll be a bad situation because you'll start to regret it within the first few months and
Right.
eventually drop out. So that shouldn't happen. But
Right.
if you picked up a branch with all your thinking and all your analysis and everything, and
Right.
go for the problem नहीं आएगी. That's what I feel.
Right. Do you think being an introvert or an extrovert has anything to do with the branch you take? Ki, people who are very introvert who don't want to interact with patients, do you think surgery is a branch for them? It's not a branch for them. Medicine isn't a branch for them. Do you think this ruling out should happen based on how interactive you are in your personal life?
Yes, it does have a role to play. So for people who are not very good at handling patients, they're good at their work, they operate well,
Right.
they do procedures and all that, but they are not really well at uh, talking to a patient and understanding their problems. They should not go
Right.
into clinical branches,
Right.
because
Right.
I'm not talking about surgery or medicine. All the clinical branches, they require some level of patient interaction, and
Right.
it is not so apparent in the government setup because you have a lot of patients, and patients would still come to the hospital even if you're not good to them. But when you
Right.
go to a private setup, talking to a patient and behaving in front of them is an important thing. So if
Right.
so for people who are not so considerate and not so friendly in during the residency, eventually वो भी private जाके सीख लेते हैं. But if
Yeah.
you're perpetually an introvert and not really into talking to people, you should not pick clinical branches.
Right.
That's the personal aspect, but that's got a very little role to play when
Yeah.
you pick up your branch. So itna इस पे वो नहीं देना है stress. But then
Hmm.
if it's the only option between you and picking up a branch, then probably yes, you should take this into consideration.
Right.
इसमें coffee hamper भी है क्या कोई?
I don't have the budget. I don't have the budget to give you coffee hampers as of now, but if this YouTube channel picks up, then sure. Somebody said ki like I'm making a lot of money from YouTube from one video. I want to tell them that I've spent a lot of money buying a mic and a webcam, but I have earned nothing. My monetization has not started. It doesn't start with one video. But theek hai. It was great talking to you. Thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate it. We had a really insightful conversation. I feel like our juniors would be able to pick up some, tips and hints here and there. So it was great. It was great talking to you. Thank you so much. And also, guys, do send us your suggestions, because that's, I feel like my critics are my best teachers. It tells me where and what to improve exactly. So do tune in. And that was my time. Hoping that I am being heard. Thank you so much, and don't forget to tune in. हो
Thank you
गया
so
अपना
much for having me. Bye bye.